A little story about the song Moishele's Nigun. Nigun is a wordless melody. Yiddish pronouncers might say something like Nigun. Hebrew it's more like Nigun. But it's a melody without words. The story behind Moishele's Nigun, which I first did on my Fringe of Blue album, just a little bit of it. It was probably like a minute long at the most. And then I decided to do more of a full-length version on the From Another World album, which I had a lot more fun with because I was really stretching out and playing all kinds of fun stuff on this guitar, actually, here in Israel. And the story behind the song is Moishele was a character, this is true, during the Second World War in Vienna. And at that time, there were three youngsters that were friends with each other. Theodor Bickel, who later became Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, and among many other acting gigs, became a famous actor, and he is still with us at the time of this recording. Also, Reb Zalman Schachter, a great Torah scholar, also from there, and we were all good friends. Went on to start the whole Jewish renewal movement. He now lives in the United States. Has amazing stories to tell, amazing teachings, and also knows a lot about music. One of my favorite people to talk to. And also, among this trio, was the late Shlomo Carlebach, who at the time of this recording passed on about a little over 15 years ago. And when he was a kid there, and I believe he was in Vienna at the time because his father was, I think, the rabbi of Vienna, there was a common visitor to his house, this guy Moishele, and he used to kind of joke around with the kids and used to kind of speak in melodies all the time, and it was kind of like it was always like good Shabbos, 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 and he would come to the door and the kids would answer it. He would say, "Hello, little Shlomo, let me in. It's raining outside." And he would always speak in these little kind of playful, musical motifs. And in addition to his playfulness, though, he was also he was kind of a brazen character. He worked for the underground and was one of the people responsible of getting people out of Vienna when the Nazis were coming in, which was a pretty serious job. And he was also the type of person who would, he wasn't afraid of anything. In those days, understandably so, when you lit the Chanukiah, the menorah on Hanukkah, usually it's customary you put it in the window so everyone can see it. Well, at that time in Vienna, that was not a very good idea. So most people did not do that. They lit it in an inner room somewhere. But he would very brazenly put it in the window, and who cares? Let everyone see, and that kind of thing. Light his Shabbos candles over there also. Anyway, at some point, it came time for him to get his own family out of Vienna because things were getting dangerous. So he arranged for all the paperwork. They were sitting on the train, and being this kind of little eccentric fellow that he was, he started singing Good Shabbos, Good Shabbos, Good Shabbos on the train on the way out. Now there are Nazi soldiers walking around, and his wife is sitting next to him and tries to get him to shut up, basically. But he said, no, I'm going to sing this song. It's the last time in Vienna. He starts singing, and sure enough, a soldier comes by and hears him and grabs him, throws him off the train, and they all gang up on him, and they start beating him on the platform, and they actually beat him to death. He died on the platform. It was a very tragic ending. Years later, I'll fast forward years later, Shlomo Carlebach is now grown up, and he's now the sort of traveling minstrel rabbi, going all over the world with his guitar, and singing songs and doing his teachings, which he became so famous for. I think Shlomo Carlebach was an amazing teacher, like Zalman Schachter also, both of them, ordained both by the Lubavitchers, Chabad, as we usually call them. And they both went in slightly different ways, but always kept in touch, were always good friends. And Shlomo Carlebach was an amazing storyteller, I think one of the best, one of the greatest, perhaps his greatest skill. And he used those stories in a way of teaching people that affected so many people. And through his teachings, he also made up a lot of songs. And on the album that has this Moishele's Nigun on it, That's an album entirely of Shlomo Carlebach tunes, and I tell you, it was a difficult task trying to narrow it down to just an album's worth, because he wrote so many and they were so good. And you could tell there's like as in the shama, there's a soulfulness, there's a soul in all these melodies. It's truly amazing. But anyway, getting back to Moishele, so after the war, Shlomo Carlebach is traveling around, and he's in Antwerp, Belgium, and there was a whole string of events that led him to be there at a certain time. Like he missed a plane and all this other stuff, so he arrived at this very, very certain time. And he played, and he gave his teachings and that kind of thing. And afterwards, someone about his age, I think, came out of the audience and talked to him. And he said, hey, where did you get that melody from? And the melody was, good Shabbos, 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 good Shabbos. And so Shlomo told him a little bit of the story, I think, that I've just told you. And the guy looked at him and said, that was my father's song. So I invite you to all listen to this. There should be a link somewhere near this blog. This is the first time I've done this. I hope I did it right, and I hope you enjoy it. It's really it's a great little melody by this guy Moishele, who is no longer with us. But I hope you enjoy it.